Okay, our next is the forces, and the force is global. For example, the gravity is set by default -h, so this is kind of like Earth gravity. And the drag force, it is amount of the drag force on the particles. And as example, it's if you take a how much particle will have force going through the water. For example, for the wings of the plane is 1, for the rock is different. This is by default equal to the 1.2. So if you needed increased drag force, you can increase the value or decreasing. As example, we have a particle for the fireworks, and when one fireworks flying with higher emission and then start losing this velocity fast enough, will increase the drag force. Imagine it's more kind of heavy wind applied or heavy density material is going through, so it's lose velocity faster, and it's doing by the drag force. Next, we also have a turbulence, which is apply amount of the turbulence to the force of gravity and a drag. Next, we have a ventilator influence. For example, for blowing in tutorials, blowing leaves from the tree, we have some ventilators, but they will effectively be different plants and particles. In many cases, we maybe want to increase this influence or decrease depending on what effect you want to do it. As well, we have it influenced by effectors, by default check, and we have it effectors on the side right here. So let's have a couple experiments and look on the gravity. Currently, our gravity 9.8, you can see we kind of start here, particles just going down. Okay. Next, if I, for example, going and set to the 0, okay, you notice our particles kind of even slowly go up. And the reason is why, because it's no gravity, and we set to 5 meters. So if I set to, for example, 13, okay, you can see we have it way less gravity on this, and of course the particles just flowing up. Okay, it will set a little bit lighter, maybe minus 4.2, something similar maybe to the moon gravity, so we can simulate these forces of the gravity right here. So it's going much slower. Again, this is a force global. We can also going and how fast it will go, it's depend on this and the weight of the particles. But again, by the gravity, you can set, for example, in some case with butterflies, I will set force to 0, so I want them going around, or set some way around maybe -1, to be sure that my particles kind of hanging a little bit around, maybe decreasing. So overall, you can play with this gravity force to adjust how fast it will pull down on the particles. The drag force, again, it was set, for example, -9.8. Okay, let's compute. And for example, right here, I'm going to say 15 meters per second. You can see the particles start moving up with this speed that I preset. And of course, when they reach top right here, the gravity will pull them back. So again, you can see our force pushing them up, the gravity eventually pull them back down. With a drag force, we can kind of increase what they will experience and how much velocity will start losing. So it's by default 1.2. Let's set to 25. Okay, and right now you can watch it's much less going, and they hold down. So if we're creating velocity to the side, for example, they will start going and lose much faster the velocity. For example, if we go in turbulence, we'll make randomize and we'll put it maybe 15. Let's see how that will bring. This turbulence will bring them to other areas. Let me also reduce the drag force to 2 for now. Okay, we'll go right there. Okay, and you can see the turbulence start moving them a little bit around. Let's go ahead and increase our turbulence to 100, so extreme. You can see how our turbulence start affecting the particles motion and drag total difference. So they kind of going more in random and just going right here, go on a side somewhere, all around. This is nice if you're using for different effect, like for example fireworks or other ones, or maybe in butterflies you want to add this turbulence. For example, we'll go set this to the 0, velocity to the 0. Okay, and you can see how they start going around. Okay, we'll go set right here 0 as well. And with turbulence now we have all this random movements. So we can create bird flag, we can create it bees going around, any other insect or chaotic. And again, it's based with a turbulence in this case. Ventilator influence, this is simple. We just need create ventilator, and they're locating now in our particle effectors. If you right click right here, extend it, and we can have it ventilator. So same things, we can take our ventilator, rotate towards our particles. Okay, we can recompute, and you can see it's kind of start pushing them away as well. Right here we can influence. So if we set to 100, you can see it will start pushing them more away. Of course, we need it set turbulence to 1 in this case. And again, depending on the weight of the particles, they will affect more with our turbulence. Okay. We look on these ventilators more closer inside when we start working on the leaves in the falling leaves tutorial, so you'll see how this effect, the also effect of ventilator, it's not just right influence, it's also on a weight of the particles itself. So we'll look on this one shortly. Okay, this is kind of forces. Again, this is just the global forces that apply to all particles under this material with particle effects inside the view.